Yo, we had this idea for a series on asking advice from somebody who's older, who's been there, done that. Here's what we kind of came up with.
So we wanted to ask somebody, what are three super important things for them in their faith?
So we asked my dad. Growing up, I called my dad Pops. My kids call him Pops as his grandpa name, and we're just really excited for you guys to hear from Pops and hear some advice from him and grow in your faith.
Pops.
Pops.
Pops. Pops. Pops.
Hey, College Heights, this is Pops, or you can also call me Scott. I'm in one of my favorite places in the universe. It's my shop. Some people refer to theirs as a man cave. I've got this little building out behind my house, and you can see some of the stuff around me. It's saws and sanding, instruments and, all my clamps, that kind of thing. They're all over the place. And one of the things that I like is I like getting lost in doing the details of a project, some things that I'm trying to make. I love making things for other people. I love repairing things, around the house, stuff that's broken or something that I can make better, right? That's just one of those things that I enjoy doing. Now here's an interesting thing. When you work with power tools, in other words, I got a table saw, it's right here behind me. I got a table saw and I got that chop saw back there and stuff. What's interesting is both of those saws right there, I would say are invaluable in the work that I do in making things, whether that's a shelf, whether that's a cutting board, if it's something else, right? Both of those saws are incredibly dangerous. They're way dangerous. You can cut off a finger. You can injure yourself very easily. There's also some things you can do that you think, well, it really doesn't matter. For instance, with both of those, you're really kind of foolish if you don't wear ear protection, and you're really kind of foolish if you don't wear something over your eyes, goggles or glasses or something along those lines. Life can be dangerous as well. There are things that you guys will do, and some of the things that you'll do while you're still in school are going to literally impact the rest of your life. I'll tell you, some of the things and decisions you'll make will impact your eternity. That's hard for you to even fathom. Let me tell you the easiest one. The easiest one is when you accept Jesus Christ and you're following him with all of your heart. That really is something that impacts, or supposed to. It's supposed to impact how you live. How you live at home, how you live at church, how you live at school, how you interact with your friends, how you interact with other people. And I'm just telling you, it's dangerous and can be dangerous out there if you do the wrong things. I can say, well, you know what? I've made a million cuts on my table saw. And so I really don't have to pay any attention to it. I can just kind of slide by. I can just do the things that I want to do. And that's when I've set myself up for an accident. That's when I've set myself up for a hospital run. Because you can't mess around with it. The machine has no mind. The machine simply is doing what a machine is supposed to do. So I need to make sure that I'm listening to not only the person who invented the machine, what they're telling me is the right and wrong things to do. I'm also way ahead when I get advice from somebody who's made something before. They've created a shelf before. They've created something else that I'm going to make. I go to a workshop on some Saturdays and I listen to somebody who says, here's how you do this. Here's the things you don't do. There's wisdom in listening to good advice. Truthful advice. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I know that there are people and there are scenarios that are out there, and what they want is they want to give you advice. They want to tell you something to do. They want to tell you something not to do. And you have to be careful who it is that you're getting truth from. If you're getting truth from a friend who doesn't know Jesus, don't let it surprise you that that your friend is kind of cheering you on and going, yeah, that's what you need to do. You need to sneak out of the house. You need to, get on this site on the computer or on your phone, whatever it is. And they're applauding you, in doing what is the wrong thing. So there's a couple of things I want to teach you or share with you. And the first one is this: you've got to seek truthful input. Seek truthful input. We all know that you can go out there on, the internet, and you can find all kinds. You can find something that's going to back up anything that you want it to say, but that doesn't make it truthful. You've got to make sure that you not only know what truth is. And last time I talked to you, it was about knowing God's word, which is the truth, right? And Jesus is the truth. I'm the way, the truth, and the life. So what we've got to know is, okay, what is that truth? And you've got to be somebody who's smart enough. And you can be this person. You don't have to believe all this stuff that's out there that says, oh, I'm just a kid and I'm not that smart. Yeah, you know what? You are somebody who's sharp enough to go out there and to seek truthful input. Now, here's why. I worked with kids for a long time, still do. I can't tell you how many times through the years that there were kids, students that I had, and they did exactly the wrong thing. And you know why they did exactly the wrong thing? It wasn't only because of their sinful nature. We all have that. It's because they had friends who were telling them, oh, it's okay. It's fine. It's okay if you do this. Or they've got a boyfriend, girlfriend saying, it's okay if you do this. It's okay if you disobey. It's okay if you do this. 1 Corinthians 15:33. That's a verse you ought to memorize. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Don't be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. If you want, and you're not seeking truthful input, you're seeking bogus input. If you go out there, there's going to be people who will be happy to tell you that wrong is right, that evil is good. There's going to be plenty of people out there. There's going to be some that you'll find in positions that might even surprise you. You just got to be somebody who's smart enough to say, you know what, I'm going to seek truthful input in my life. You got a decision to make. You got to decide what to do about something. You got to decide ahead of time what you're going to do. You've got a friend who has said, hey, listen, I've got the answers to the next test, and I'll share them with you. We can ace this test. We don't even have to study. We don't have to do anything else. Why not find out from somebody that you respect whether or not that's a great idea or not? Well, we already know. It's not like we don't know. We already know. But we're willing to do what is the wrong thing. And we say, well, it helped me make a good grade. That's not the issue. The issue is your heart. Anyway, make sure that you're somebody who's seeking truthful input. You've got to do that. I can't do that for you. Your youth ministers can't do that for you. You've got to be somebody who says, I'm going to seek truthful input. Now, it may in fact be that you go to your youth ministers and say, here's what I'm facing. You may go to somebody who's one of your adult leaders and go, here's what I'm facing. What is it that I should do? I'll tell you a quick story. Years and years ago, there was a girl who came to me. This was at camp, and she's in tears, and she came to me and she said, hey, you know what? I need to tell you something, but you got to promise you won't tell. Well, I don't play that game. And so I said, do you trust me? And she said, oh, I trust you. I said, okay, then you know what? You're just going to have to tell me. And then if you do trust me, then I'm going to do the right thing. That I can guarantee you. I will do the right thing. She said, no, you got to promise you won't tell. I said, then I wouldn't tell me. I really wouldn't. Because what that sounds like is you don't trust me. She said, okay. And so she told me about it. And in this particular instance, it was an eating disorder. And I said, okay, here it is. You ready? When we get home, you've got 24 hours to go tell your parents. And if I don't hear from your parents in 24 hours, then I'm going to call them and I'm going to tell them what happened. She said, but you can't tell. You can't tell them. I can't tell them. I said, you know what? I care about you more than I care about whether or not you like me. And so I'm telling you, this is a dangerous situation. Dangerous situation. And what you're describing to me is a dangerous situation. This isn't something you just pretend and it goes away. Now, here it is. Ready? You are somebody who needs to be sure that you are seeking truthful input, whether you like it or not, whether it feels good or not. Ephesians 4, that you speak truth in love. That you've got somebody who's speaking truth to you even when it doesn't feel good. And you can always tell if you've got somebody out there who's a friend of yours, you're going to speak truth to them in love. It's not pulling out some sort of verbal baseball bat and saying you're just so crazy and that kind of thing. This is, you are making sure that you are giving truth in love. You seek truth in love, you give truth in love. That's part of your call as a Christian. But you've got to make sure that you've got the right input that's coming in. Right input. If you have the wrong input, the things that are going on, the things that you're spending the most time on, the things that you are ingesting yourself mentally here and in your heart, if what all those things are is wrong, don't be deceived. Bad company corrupts good character. Be people who seek truth. Be people who speak truth in love. We'll see you.